So, the first time I used a mirror to actually look at my yoni, in detail, I never knew what the fuck that thing looked like before. For the first time I actually took a mirror, laid down, and looked at what I had going on down there, I was 18. And I only looked because it was burning intensely from my first yeast infection. My first infection happened after I tried douching for the first and last time. Y'all know what a douche is. If you don't, look it up. I had sex for the first time a little before that, and I remember thinking his member was inside of me. I felt dirty even though I had done something I wanted to do. I still felt like I had to cleanse myself of this dirty feeling. So I did what I thought would work. My grandma had an unused one in her bathroom, and I used it. And then I took a bath, followed the directions, everything. Not too long went by before my yoni felt like fire. When I looked at it, it was red. And I thought, well, damn, I wish I knew what it looked like before. When I couldn't figure out how to stop the pain on my own, I had no other choice in my mind except to go to my mom. I said, Mama, I called her mommy, called my mother mommy for most of my life. I said, Mommy, I think I have a yeast infection. She responded, what? At the top of her lungs, a yeast infection? How you get that? I told her because I used a douche. She accused me of having sex. Of course I lied. Then she called me something along the lines of stupid and reassured me that it was never going to get better. And I'd have to go to the hospital and I'd get reoccurring yeast infections for the rest of my life. That was how that conversation went. It's just like I I I feel like I have to acknowledge the ways in which I was disconnected from myself without the proper tools to get back to that, get back to who I am, knowing myself. So it's like, you know, how am I supposed to know that a douche, it was just like, why did I feel dirty enough to use a douche, you know? And it was just simply lack of information about how my body works and other people's bodies when it comes to sex. I didn't know nothing about no man. I didn't know nothing about myself. But I'm 18, I got these urges. So I thought, well, hey, I'm supposed to make sure I'm super clean after sex. So a bath ain't enough. My vagina has to stay healthy. Something has to go inside there to clean it. But, I learned that is far from true. I know better, much better 10 years later. But in that moment, it was just like, I needed somebody to instruct me so that I wouldn't continue causing myself pain. And all I got instead was fear, projections, you know, oh, you're having sex because that's my worst fear for you. And because of that, now you're dealing with this pain that I can't do anything about. And that's kind of how my mother came about it. And it was just like, I still never felt I could come to talk to her about the fact that I was having sex at that, like, new to having sex, any advice, anything she could give me. But no, it was just like, your life is fucking ruined forever because you're a whore. And I took that in. I took all that energy, and people don't really understand the type of emotions and emotional damage that you can put on a person when you're projecting your own shit onto them, when you're not really listening or looking at them for their situation, but you're thinking about yourself. You know what I'm saying? Instead of their struggle, you thinking about your struggle and what you had to go through when you was in that struggle. But that's a completely different person from you and a whole nother journey. You know what I mean? So it's like, as I'm trying to heal my energy and my sacral chakra, I'm realizing the reasons why it was closed off, the reasons why it was blocked. So, that first moment I can recall is when my body needed me and I had no idea what to do for it. And the person I should be able to go to talk to find out what the hell is going on with my body, because you're the one that created it. I couldn't, because I couldn't trust that she wouldn't just see her own pain instead of seeing me and what I was going through, and what I needed. So I'm gonna keep going, because this is sacral chakra healing. This is shadow work, and this is for me to come back to gain any clarity that I need within myself when I'm really feeling lost and disconnected from me, to really reel it back in. Like, you didn't do all this to yourself, but if you get to the root, you can figure out how to heal that. Where did that come from? How did that start? Where did that block start? So, second story I got, and I wrote all this down 2 years ago. And I'm just brave enough now to speak on it, because I'm accepting that, this was a part of my journey. And now that I can see the whole complete picture of it, now it's time to just forgive. But you can't forgive until you truly face it, you know what I mean? So the second story I got, birth control. My parents put me on at 16. So I didn't start having sex till 18. But at 16, when my parents found out I was talking to members of the opposite sex, I had guy friends, There was guys I liked, but I wasn't going to have them in my phone for my parents to find. You're not going to find those conversations. But the ones that I purposely leave in my phone, platonic friendships that I'm trying to convince you, like, bro, I'm a girl, I can have guy friends. Okay? But that y'all know how strict parents can go. That was unheard of. So I wasn't trying to hide it, but they find out I'm talking to members of the opposite sex, and they freak the fuck out, to the point where they don't allow me to go to prom. Never went to prom because of that. And I guess that still fucking hurts, huh? But and then they put me on birth control. I had no intentions of having sex. None. You could ask anybody I went to school with, the type of person I was, no, I understood how energies work before I even knew energies. I knew that you lay down with somebody, it don't matter if you never see them again. They have left something with you. They have taken something from you. And I knew that if I was going to share that energy with someone, it needed to be somebody I loved immensely, somebody I would spend the rest of my life with. And that's how I felt. That's what I told every nigga in high school. If you're not trying to marry me, nigga, you're wasting your time. And so at 16, when I started to step into my full self, started to get in tune with my, my social energy. I got female friends, and now I can have guy friends. I got a cell phone. I can talk to my friends outside of school, because I wasn't allowed to see them outside of school, very sheltered. So I could at least talk to my friends now. No, because you do that, and now it's a whole hell that is going to erupt from that, because my parents felt like they were losing control. And so the best thing they could do to feel like they could be in control of the situation in case I got pregnant or decided to do whatever I wanted to do, even though they didn't even ask me what I wanted to do, they just assumed, and then accused me of, just assumed I was lying when I said, no, I'm not trying to go have sex. Girl, please. I don't trust the nigga. No, you don't trust me. And I'm saying that shit disconnected me from myself. Birth control is hell. It's hell. And I was never one of them girls that wanted to be on birth control, but I also didn't understand just how dangerous it was. So when they said we putting you on birth control, I didn't fight the way I should have for myself. I was defeated. I felt deflated. They were so disappointed in me. Just for expressing myself, for making friends and connections. They were so disappointed in me that they took away something that I dreamed about my whole entire life. And I still ache over not going to my prom. It's funny that they found out I was, messaging my guy friends while I was out shopping for my prom dress. We out shopping for prom. So it's just like, all of it comes together, and it just really shows me why I felt so blocked, why these blockages felt impossible to remove, because it's like, I feel like things were taken from me that I can never get back. I can never get those moments back. They took away prom, my phone. They told me they absolutely did not trust me when they put me on birth control and disconnected me from my body. I fully got off birth control after 8 years. 8 years of going through crazy mental, emotional shit from the chemicals in that birth control. And it's just like, at one point I didn't think I could have kids. But I get to this point where I realize the things I've been through, I can move on from, because those people no longer have access to me. None of them. Yes, I'm talking about my parents too. They don't have access to me because they don't understand. And they don't want to understand because it's too hard. It's too hard for people to understand the way that they hurt you and continue to hurt you when all they can think about is themselves, when all they can see is their own pain and their own hurt. And I'm not that daughter that's gonna take that shit on anymore, because you see how it broke me. You see how it blocked me and took me away from myself, because I lived to make y'all happy. I lived to make up for the way I disappointed y'all instead of living for myself. It's different now, as you can see. Like, yeah, when you cut niggas off, like, things change. They start to see, oh, she's not playing. But at the same time, you let them back in, then they'd be like, oh, she playing. You know what I'm saying? So it said, like, when you're going through emotional healing, I'm realizing there's things we might hold on to that we think aren't a big deal. That you think, you know what, I'm 28 years old. Why the fuck would I still be upset about prom? That was so long ago now. But when you don't heal from those things at the time, or even a little later after, it might come back 30 years later and you're like, damn, like, I was really this bitter from that experience because I decided not to face it and heal it. I decided to just accept it. And it gets tricky when we just accept bullshit and not make any changes, because we start to lose ourselves. So I'm glad, like, I sat down and I recalled those moments where I truly felt disconnected from my body, from my yoni, from what I have that belongs to me, you know what I mean? My voice, my social energy, like, that wasn't for them to interfere with. But now I see I allowed them to interfere with that. So now I can make that change. Say that I don't have to take that. We don't have to take that. My yoni don't have to take that. And I'm grateful to my yoni. I send my yoni love, light, and healing from all the trauma. I am grateful for the unconditional love my yoni has shown to me and others. I am grateful for my strength and my yoni's strength. I'm grateful for our connection in its highest positive vibrations. I send my yoni full freedom to love in the unconditional love of my twin flame experience. I let love in. I am letting love in. I am letting in love. I receive love and light in its highest vibrations into my life.